Very good morning. Jai Shri Krishna Guruji. Thank you for joining Devi Mahatmyam Parayan Day 4. Wishing you all a very happy Navratri. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Saraswataya Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So today we'll be beginning the third episode of Devi Mahatmyam, meditation on MahaSaraswati. Wielding in her lotus hands, the bell, trident, plowshare, conch, pestle, discus, bow and arrow, her luster is like that of a moon shining in autumn sky. She is born from the body of Gauri and is the sustaining base of the three worlds. That MahaSaraswati I worship here, who destroyed Shumba and other asuras. Third episode, fifth chapter. Om Kleem, the sage said. Long ago, Indra's shares in the sacrifices and his authority over the triple world were captured by the asuras Shumba and Nishumba by reporting to their strength and pride. Oh, we have two more new demons who have been introduced. Shumba and Nishumba. By resorting to their strength and pride. So Shumba represents strength and Nishumba pride. They too themselves took over the authority of the sun, the moon, Kubera, Yama and Varuna. They too captured the glory of Vayu and performed the acts of Agni. Their kingdoms lost, the vanquished gods were expelled. All the gods whose authority has been captured and who were spurned by the two great asuras remembered that goddess who is invincible. A boon was given to us by her as follows. If you remember me in distress, that very moment I shall destroy all your worst sufferings. Resolving thus, the gods went to Himavan, the lord of the mountains. There they praised the divine Vishnu Maya. The god said, salutations to the goddess, to the great goddess, our constant salutations to the auspicious, salutations to Prakriti, to the good, with restraint we have bowed down to her. Salutations to her who is terrible, to her who is eternal. Salutations to Gauri, to her who upholds and sustains. Our constant salutations to her who is the form of the moon, who is moonlight and who is delight. We make our obeisance to her who is auspicious to the obeisant, to growth and prosperity, to accomplishment. Salutations to thee, consort of Shiva, to the misfortune, to the good fortune of kings. To Durga, who fords us across difficulties, to the essence, to the doer of all, to the discriminating knowledge, to the dark one, to the smoky one, our constant salutations. We have prostrated before the exceedingly beautiful, before the extremely terrible, salutations to her. To the mainstay of the world, to the goddess, workmanship, we bow. To the goddess who in all beings is resonant as Vishnu Maya, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations and salutations. To the goddess who in all beings is called consciousness, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations. A small quick explanation here. What are we doing? The gods once again have to go and invoke her. They want her to now destroy the great asuras Shumba and Nishumba. Now, what does that tell you? That there are different demons within us. It's just not one. So we fought Mahishasura, who takes different forms, Madhu and Kaita. And the goddess fought the hosts of asuras. What does that tell us? That tells us that these demons, if you kill one, there is the next that crops up immediately. So you need to have all the power of the goddess within you, which you already have. Only thing is, we don't unravel it. What is the problem? We don't even know that this power exists within us. And we are always searching for something outside. Even the gods are going and telling the Devi, please now come. See, the Devi gives a vardhan. After she killed Mahishasura, she says this to all the gods, whoever, worships me, when they are in, with their complete surrender and they remember me during the sufferings, I will come to save them. It's mentioned, right? That verse. A boon was given to us by her. The mother gave them a boon. If you remember me in distress, that very moment, I shall destroy all your worst sufferings. But do we even remember God? We actually don't. See, how does a human being remember God in distress? See, those who believe in God, yes, of course, when they have a problem, whether if they have a guru or they'll go to do, they believe in some God or goddess, they'll go to the temple. They will say, you know what, please God, you solve this problem for me. I will, offer you this. It's sort of a transaction, we get into. That's what we end up doing. But the goddess is ever compassionate. Remember what she says. What the gods say about her in the last episode. In the last episode, she was praised. You know why? Because when she kills these demons, the demons get liberated. They attain her, they attain the heavens, a higher plane. How beautiful is her compassion. Even the evil gets released. That is the beauty of being the supreme divine. They don't discriminate amongst anybody. Of course, she says, where there is good, I will be there. All that is said. But when she destroys the evil, all the demons, they attain her plane. Which is what that gods do. The real supreme divine beings do that. So they are very benevolent. Now, the most important thing for us to understand is that we only remember God during our sufferings. But in other times, we don't even remember the God. Why is that? Why is that so? You should ask yourself, can we not offer her the praises and be grateful that God has been so kind to us, taking care of us at all times and keeping us away from all the troubles? That's something we will not. In many a time, we don't even, want to ask the well-being of the God. You don't, because you believe God is the supreme power. There's nothing that wrong can happen with them, which is a fact. So, but as a body, definitely everybody goes through that suffering, right? So you should be, very good. I'm not saying don't go to the God when you're suffering or you have your difficulties, you need some things to happen in your world. Of course, though human beings can only look up to God, right? Because God has that power. That is what we are believing in. My Guruji will teach us that why do you think that, people go to God to get their problems solved? Because they believe that God has something extraordinary power where He can solve the issues of their devotees, the ones in distress or in affliction, whatever that they are going through. Like my Guruji has asked one question, where should the gods go? That's very powerful question. I'm not talking about the deities. See, here the deities are approached the Supreme Mother. Likewise, all of us, the human beings, go to gods. But his question was, where should the Supreme Mother go? It was a very, very interesting question. Who should the God turn to? It was beautiful. But there's nothing to turn to. The God is all-knowing, this supreme divine, full of effulgence, full of power. So there is nothing that the God has to, there is nobody that the God has to turn to. Similarly, what he was trying to teach us is that the God is within you. This great goddess is me alone. You alone. The capabilities are within us. When you unravel your potentials, you will realize the power that you hold. You have the ability to address the problems. You have the ability to fight the demons in your world. You have the ability to solve, all the issues, come up with a solution. Because this great goddess is you. But human beings don't believe it. What is missing is called faith. I don't have the conviction that this is who I am. I am the Devi and I have all this capability within me itself. So when you solve the problems, you become greater and greater. You rise above. You understand your own true hidden potentials, which is what is missing. And most important, it's not necessary for you to always go to God with your problem, but please go also just to praise and thank her for everything. That is very important, which we miss in our world. So let us continue. To the goddess who in all beings is called consciousness, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of intelligence, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of sleep, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of hunger, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of shadow, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of force, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. Do you see that every aspect, what is being said here, what are they praising her about? To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of force. Which means what? The force, the shadow, every aspect, every strength, that is called the capability, that is called the strength, that is called the power. She is in that form, but we don't even recognize. How sad is that? To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of thirst, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of patience, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of genus, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of modesty, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of peace, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of faith, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of glowing charm, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of good fortune, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of activity. See, she's a Shakti, she's a doer. The act of doing, the power to do, rest. So you see, all these things are within us, but we don't even want to recognize. My Guruji doesn't like something very, when someone says this, if he says do this, I don't know, I cannot do it. That I don't know, I cannot do it. Why can't you do it? He'll always say, you have to be the highest performer. You can't say you don't know to do, you can't do it. So what does the goddess exist within us in the form of activity? But why does a human being not use this power? We think we are incapable. Who has given you all that? All the demons within you, whom we nourish. We don't nourish the gods within us. We always nourish the human within us. We rather nurture. Sorry, the right word is nurture. We nurture the demons within us. Why is that? It's easy to fall down. It is very difficult to rise high up. We don't want to put efforts. What is missing here is self-effort. Bhagavad Gita, Lord Shri Krishna says to Arjuna, the only thing you can do or you can rise yourself only through your self-effort. Lord Krishna is not going to, lift his bow and arrow and shoot for Arjuna. Arjuna has to do, but the power to do is there within. That is the divine potency. This is what we fail to understand. And we always believe, I can't do it, it's not possible, I'm incapable. How many negatives do we give constantly? And the more the negative you give, more the demons are getting, you give rise to these demons within yourself. And how are you going to feel? You're a weakling. You can't even fight the war. The war is within, where you have to fight. What are these demons all about? It's about your own negativity, your own negative evil tendencies that exist. And fighting them is the most important thing with the right tools. That is what we are learning here. The power to do, the form of activity is her. Everything is her only within. The power, it's the potency, the divine potency. But we don't use it at all, unfortunately. We use all the evil potencies. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of activity, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations and salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of remembrance, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of mercy, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of contentment, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. I'm going to actually now stop and explain a little bit about this verse. The goddess who in all beings abides in the form of contentment. Now, is anybody contented today in their life? Never. You know why? Greed, lust and greed. Two predominant demons work within us, which we will be learning very soon now. And you know what is that? We have insatiable desires. I want more. How much more is enough? It's never enough. It's like a bottomless pit. And you want it more and more and more. This greed gives rise to so much of, insatiable desires within us. The greed is what leads to that insatiable desires, and from that insatiable desires, you're always, trying to fulfill one desire after the other, after the other. There is no stop button. There is no end to it at all. And a man is ever unhappy. You can never be happy at all. The most important quality called contentment doesn't exist. Have you ever experienced the feeling of truth? It's a Sanskrit word, truth. It means contented. Content. You feel absolutely content with whatever that you have. That contentment is most important to achieve in life. You should be very thankful, grateful. You're just happy. You don't think you want more. You're happy living in the moment. That is the most important thing. The feeling of truth of everything is very, very critical. But have you seen people around you? 99.99% of the people are always, thinking about, oh, I didn't get or I want something. It is two aspects. I didn't get something or I want something. They're never in the moment saying, I'm so grateful to what I have. I'm so glad I have this beautiful life, my family, my children, whatever that you have. My guru is the best thing that's happened to me. I'm living with him. It's the greatest, moment of my life. I have to make every moment of it. I'm just giving example. To everybody, their contentment can come from different aspects. In my case, I will say my contentment is living with my God, living with my guru every moment of my life. That is contentment to me. So it's about what is contentment all about. You have to be very thankful for everything. Don't go running about trying to fulfill your desires or satisfy somebody else's desires. You're always going to be caught in that rat race. You're never going to be happy. Contentment is a far off thing. I can see happiness is a state of mind. It's a very momentary thing. If you give somebody something, it's like in a human nature. You give them some small gift, they'll be very happy and they'll talk very nicely to you. After that moment is over, the next day they'll have something else about you. They'll think something negative or whatever that might be, or you might say something bad to them. Ask them to be the same good self, they're never going to be there. And immediately they will say the same goodness, the same thankfulness doesn't exist. And next moment you're actually fighting, or you're having bitter feeling with each other. So why is this yo-yo? Do you see that happiness is a state of mind? It's only a momentary thing. The moment you have eaten that fruit, your happiness is over. And then the next desire comes up. This is what we are in our world today. And trying to satisfy this, man finishes his entire life. Now where is the question of attaining God? God though doesn't exist only in his world. That's a very sad state we are in. This human body is a boon. Only through human birth can you attain the divine being. That is far away goal, But people are very much interested. Oh, it is my husband, my family, my job, my children. I don't know what not goes on in their world. They don't take time for God. God doesn't exist. But you have time for doing all other frivolous things. And people today, in today's day and age, talk on the phone for hours together. I don't know what crap they talk. They waste their life. They need to throw away that, there is one idiot box. If you see old people in everybody's house, they sit in front of that idiot box throughout the day, morning till night. I don't know what do they get from that. And then more than that, they will invite sickness. Oh, I have diabetes now, I need to get thyroid, I need to get something else. Why? Their mind cannot stop thinking. And then the first thing you go meet any old people, even though everything is fine, they'll have to whine out. How angry I get. Why are you wasting your life? God-given life. That is the age where you have to keep taking the name of the God. On the contrary, they will take the name of all the diseases that is there. They will do the Naam Japa of the diseases. Sorry to say that, but that is a reality. So, please seek contentment. Be thankful. Become contented with your life. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of mother, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who in all beings abides in the form of mistake, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. To her who presides over the senses and over the beings and also permeates into all beings, to that ever-pervasive goddess, salutations, salutations. To the goddess who pervading this entire universe, the world, abides in the form of consciousness, to her salutations, to her salutations, to her salutations, salutations, salutations. Lauded by the gods, formerly for attaining the desired object, and then served for days together by the King of Gods, may she, Ishwari, the cause of auspiciousness, do us the auspicious good and destroy the miseries. And who is at the present moment offered salutations by us gods, tormented by the haughty sons of Diti, and who, when remembered by us with bodies bent with devotion, destroys that moment all our miseries. The sage said, "Oh, the delight of kings! Thus, while the gods were engaged in the Lord, Parvati, the daughter of the mountain, came to bathe in the waters of the Ganges. She of pretty eyebrows asked those gods, 'Who is it that is being lauded here?' From her body sheath an auspicious form emerged and replied, 'This laud is done to me by the gods, assembled here, who have been vanquished by Nishumbha in battle and spurned by the Asura Shumbha.' As the mother emerged from the physical sheath of the daughter of the mountain, henceforth she is extolled as Kaushiki in all the worlds. After she emerged, Parvati, the daughter of mountain, became dark and was called Kalika, that means dark. She took her abode in the Himalayas. Then Chanda and Munda, the bearers of Shumba and Nishumba, espoused a mother who has taken a most charming form. Here comes the two important demons. Let us understand who are these within us. Very important lesson. Shumba was informed by them, O great king, some woman. Do you see the reference? Shumba was informed by them, O great king, some woman resides there, exceedingly charming, shedding luster on the mountains, Himavan. Nobody has ever seen such an exquisite form anywhere. O king of Asuras, please ascertain what that goddess is and take possession of her. The very important word. What are they saying to the demon head, Shumba and Nishumba? Telling, take possession of her. Possession. Remember this word. We'll come back to it. A gem among women of exceedingly lovely limbs. She stands, making the quarters luminous by her luster. You ought to see her. O Lord, whatever things are there in the three worlds, all of them, gems, jewels, elephants, horses, etc., are now appearing in your mansion. All the precious gems, everything that all the gods had, like Indra's elephant, Airavat, then the horse Uchishrava, everything is now under the possession of these demons. From Indra, Airavat, the gem amongst elephant, has been brought. Likewise, this Parijata tree and the horse Uchishravas. Here stands in your courtyard the aerial chariot yoked with swans. This wonderful thing originally belonged to Brahma and has been brought as a gem of its class. This treasure, Mahapadma, has been brought from Kubera, the lord of wealth. The ocean has given the garland of unfading lotuses full of filaments. The umbrella of Varuna, showering gold, is now in your mansion. Similarly, this nice chariot, which belonged once to the Lord of Beings. O Lord, you have seized the lands of Yama, the famous Utkrandita. The noose of Varuna, the king of waters, is in the possession of your brother. All classes of gems born out of the ocean have become Nishumbas. Agni too has granted you a pair of garments purified by fire. O Lord of the sons of divisions, thus all gems have been seized by you. Why this auspicious lady, a gem of woman, has not been taken by you? Oh wow, he's calling her gem of a woman. The sage said, on hearing these words of Chanda and Munda, Shumba sent the great Asura Sugriva as messenger to goddess. I will explain who Chanda and Munda are at the end of our once I finish reading the verses. Okay, let us continue. On hearing these, go and tell her such and such according to what I say. You have to finish the work speedily in such a way that she comes forward in love. He went to the very lovely spot in the mountain where the goddess was seated and spoke to her nicely, sweet words. The messenger said, O goddess, Shumba, the lord of the sons of Didi, is the supreme sovereign in the three worlds. I am sent by him as messenger and have come here to your presence. None of the divine births have ever transgressed his commands, and he has defeated all the foes of the Asuras. Listen to what he says. Mine is the entire triple world. The gods are under my control. I partake each one of all their shares in the sacrifices. All the best gems in the three worlds, without exception, are under my control. Likewise, Indra's vehicle, the gem of elephants, has been taken by me. That gem of a horse, Uchishravas, by name, produced out of the churning of the milky ocean, was offered to me with salutations by the gods. O beautiful one, whatever things were like great gems with the gods, Gandharvas and Nagas, they are all now with me only. O goddess, we in the world esteem you a gem among women. So, you come to us as we are the enjoyer of rare gems. Wow! Enjoyer of rare gems. You come to me or to my brother Nishumba of vast prowess, O lady of wavering glance, as you are really a gem. By accepting me, you will get huge wealth of no comparison. Think over this in your mind and become my spouse. So let me now give you an understanding as to who is Chanda and who is Munda. Shumba and Nishumba, I will cover it later. I'm not going to talk about it now. So what did they actually do? The moment they saw this beautiful goddess, she looked like such a divine being. Of course, to their eyes, she didn't look divine because they called her a woman. The word was used as woman. Now, Chanda represents lust in us and Munda represents greed. You know, the word was possession. What is the word? Possession. And did you see the demon saying, I possess the best of, the Indra's elephant, Airavat, Ushchishrava, the horse, this, that. And if you have listened to my the first Devi Mahatmyam episode, in that I was reading about how the gods who had all of these precious gems offered it to the goddess when they invoked her, when she was being born out of them. Now all that is under the demon's possession. What does that tell us? That tells us within our being, we become subdue and surrender to the demon. You know why? The demons take away Indra's throne. Now they are ruling us. And what are they driven by? Lust and greed. One is greed. I want this. I want to possess this. Have you observed in a human being? If you read about any wealthy man, they'll say, oh, I own a Mercedes Benz. Forget about Mercedes Benz. That's the cheap stuff. I own the Rolls Royce. Not one Rolls Royce. They need some versions of Rolls Royce. And they'll have 65 cars, 75 cars. They're displaying their wealth. They want to possess the best in the world. And where is this all coming from? The greed. Chanda and Munda represents, and Shumba and Nishumba as well, which I will discuss later. But let us first focus on these two aspects called lust and greed. It is the very much the bigger demon in us which drives our existence. We are constantly driven by lust and greed. Have you seen, when you see some beautiful women, I mean, even man, of course, I'm not saying a woman doesn't see a man or a man doesn't see a woman, it's both. Have you observed, oh, he's hot looking, oh, she's very beautiful. I want to, marry her, I want to propose to her. That's the first thought. What is that all about? It's a lust. I want to possess. And that comes in greed. She's the most beautiful one. I need to make her my princess. I need to make him my Prince Charming. He's my Prince Charming. I have to make him my prince. This is what we are all driven by. We don't even understand, the goodness that is really required to overcome the lust and greed aspect. We are constantly driven by the lust and greed. And please remember, that is why a man goes to ruins. When you are smitten by, I wouldn't say smitten, when you have been overtaken by the evil called lust and greed, your life is over right there. Any scripture for that matter, whether it is Bhagavad Gita, Uddhav Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Tripura Rahasyam, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsaji's Gospel, everything teaches, get over lust and greed. Ramakrishna Paramahamsaji says, Kamini Kanchan. What does it mean? Women and gold. Stay away from that. It is the biggest danger in a human being's life. We don't understand this. We ruin and destroy our life just by these two elements in our world. Constantly running after it. What is the necessity to become so greedy? Imagine they are actually like in today's day and age, if you want to understand who this demon and how they work, you have to talk to some super rich, wealthy people. They'll say, oh, I have the best Rolex watch. This is a collector's edition, some collector's piece, and there's only some edition they'll call it. I'm sorry, I don't know much about it, but I'm just saying. And they'll say this is only one piece of it. It was designed in such thing. I own this. They take pride in such things. So everybody has different greed attached to them. Some they like say, oh, this is the only type of car customized exclusively for me. I've spent some $1 million, $1 billion, I don't know, whatever. But you know what people forget? When you're born, you come with nothing. When you die with nothing. It's only an interim period. And when you live as this beautiful life, human being, you need to do good in this world. Good to yourself and good to the world. And that is why Sai Baba says, wealth is to establish dharma. It is not just to satisfy my own, sense pleasure constantly, which is insatiable. There is no end to it. It keeps going after one desire after the other, after the other, after the other. But at the end of the day, what is it you're going to do? You can't even eat your money. What are the prized possessions? You just want to show off the power, the position, the possession. For how long? Momentary. Man wastes all his life. The only momentary life. How much you will live? See, today's lifespan of an average lifespan of a male, is about I think 74, and a female is about 69 or 70. I don't know, probably that much. Now, what is it you want to live more than that? And in that, you're actually going to be having sickness, and you're going to spend your money trying to get cured and live longer. See, death is already predefined. Nobody can stop death, and nobody can stop birth as well. But this human body, this human birth is given so that we can release ourselves from the cycle of birth and death and overcome all the karmas and sins from our previous lives and attain God realization, redeem, free yourself. No, but that is not what human beings want. They want to further get into the gutters. That is what they think their human birth is all about. And they keep running this rat race of earning more and more. See, my Guruji taught a very powerful lesson. This is way back in time. And I will always revere this lesson. He said, no matter how much of salary I'll give you, even if I give you $1 million, you know what? You will still feel the paucity of money in your life. Because for money, they come with their feathers. You don't know how they will fly away. So when you are contented with what you get and manage within that, you will feel even there will be at least additional amount left over at the end of the month. But I keep giving you more, even that more is never going to be enough. Money has its own wings and it will just fly away. And this is the way of how the Lord works. It's called Maya. And we fall into the delusion endlessly. See, I can go on explaining on lust and greed. It's never ending story. But see, the reason you need to understand why the same thing is being taught over and over and over again, because man doesn't remember, especially post-pandemic. His brain, his memory has completely gone. I don't know where it has gone. It's gone, like my Guruji say, gone to Kashi. So he's completely lost his brain. Doesn't function at all. So that is why we have to do Devi Mahatmyam every single year. Remember 9 days of Durga Puja, Navratris performed, so that it's a reminder. Please look at me, please look at me, like Vishnu had to fight Madhu and Kaita for 5,000 years. And now we are fighting every single year, reminding you what is your real purpose, who you truly are, and telling you don't fall prey to this demons within you. There is no demon outside, demon is within us. You have to kill lust, you have to kill the greed within you. That is killing Chanda and Munda. And who is this goddess? Devi. Is there a Devi outside? She is you. You are the Devi and you have to fight this battle. The knowledge is given to you. With the power of the knowledge, cut asunder the ignorance, says Sri Krishna. So that is exactly what we have to do. Devi Mahatmyam is also the same. And this goddess is none other than Lord Sri Krishna himself. I revealed the secret to you yesterday. There is no goddess and God. It is all the concoction that the people have displayed. There is only active and passive principle. Please remember, it is supreme divine consciousness. She is the primordial mother. Supreme goddess she is. That is who it is. It is Krishna Kali. It's just a form. They come to serve a purpose in this world, in the world, and that is why we have a different way of narrating the stories for the stupid and simple mind to understand, because the mind doesn't have the capability to understand the esoteric lessons. So it is explained in the form of a story. But the Adhyatmic truth is, everything is in this body alone. The war has to be fought within, and there is no war outside it is happening. So the Devi is you, fight this demon. Destroy lust and greed within yourself. So I hope you understood what is the lust and greed within you. Chanda and Munda is just a character. It's a representation. So it represents lust and greed. Destroy it and you will be, and live a God-pleasing life. Your life will be made beautiful. God takes care. See, He is your Father. He takes care of this entire universe. If He has created you, He knows what is right for you. It will anyways come. Why do you then keep running after things? Don't bother. Surrender. I love the story of Krishna and gopis. When, Lord Shri Krishna, when the gopis were bathing in the river and he, hides their clothes. People look at it, oh, look how Krishna, what is he doing? No, there's a huge truth to that. Don't use your crass, mind to understand this knowledge. It signifies that when you have to go to the Lord, you have to go completely naked. What does it mean? Naked means, He says, gopis, surrendered completely. Walk and come to me naked. That means remove your ego, arrogance, the I-ness, minus, everything, desires, and come to me like a child. Come to me with full surrender. That is called naked. The term naked means give up your ego, arrogance. I know, I don't know. Everything starts with I, me, myself. Remove that I of your life. That is the truth about it. So He says, you can't keep holding like this. No, I can't come out like that. No, surrender like this. Completely. Take up your hand and walk. That surrender has to be to the Divine Lord. And when you do that, you know what? He embraces you. He takes charge of your life and makes your life very beautiful. And then whatever happens in this world, it is not your problem. It is His problem. No karma accrues to you. Then everything is Nishkama karma. You will only be a tool in the hands of the Divine Lord. And whatever the work you do, you're doing it for Him. There is no I, me, myself then. Then anything that you get, He gives it to you. And there is no karma accruing to you at all from that object. It is blessed. That is why we say anything before we do or when we buy anything at all, it's a custom to first offer it to the God. You know why? He purifies it and gives it. And when you take it from Him, it's a blessed. We call it prasad. We take it back as prasad and then we eat or wear or whatever you do. That is the tradition. There is all profound truth behind this. And you need to understand. So I hope you understood today's very powerful demons called lust and greed. I can only tell you, please use this knowledge to empower the Devi and destroy the demon within us. And likewise, the goddess is very gracious. She says, I'm ever ready to, remove the sufferings of everybody. Destroy this evil out of your life. So let us continue. The sage said, thus spoken to the goddess Durga, adorable and auspicious, by whom this world is upheld and sustained, said seriously, laughing within herself. The goddess said, you have spoken the truth. No falsehood has been uttered by you in this connection. Shumba is the overlord of the triple world, and Nishumba too is likewise. But how to falsify the promise formerly made out of immaturity in mind? Hear the promise I made long ago. He alone will become my husband who conquers me in battle, who vanquishes my pride and who is equal to me in strength in the world. And so let Shumba come here, or Nishumba of great strength. Let them conquer me easily and win my hand in marriage. Why delay? The messenger said, O goddess, you are haughty. Do not say like this in front of me. In all the three worlds, which male dare stand before Shumba and Nishumba? Also before other asuras, even all the gods assembled cannot stand in battle. Then what about you, all alone, and that too, O woman? There is an emphasis here, woman. I'm going to just take a quick pause and give a understanding. This Devi Mahatmyam is also to understand, especially in a female or even a male, both the empowerment, especially in a female, because women has always been suppressed, and women has been looked upon as a sex object. We always look at her as some object of enjoyment. Unfortunately, the world has been programmed in that capacity. But what is important to every woman today? That she needs to take charge of her life. She needs to understand she is this Devi. She is the Durga Ma. She doesn't have to succumb to anybody or take this crap from any male-dominated society or the world. She is the powerhouse of potentials. She needs to take charge of her life and take her position wherever she thinks she fits right. There is no man who has to give it to her. It is her rightful position. And this is something the women don't understand. They allow these kind of people to deride them. Have you experienced in your own life how men treat, whether it is a workplace or outside or wherever? They think that this is a man's world. And today, please understand, we are in the Kali Yuga. It is Kali's world, and Kali has to rise. Every woman who is being oppressed, suppressed, she has to take charge of her life. She has to be empowered. You have to empower. Empowerment is not given from outside. It is who you will have to empower yourself. The choice of becoming empowered rests with you alone. And I don't like this term empowerment. You know why? Because everybody talks about this women's empowerment. It's the most abused term. Simply because people think that they can use this women's empowerment initiatives to do whatever crap they want to do in the world. It doesn't work like that. There is nobody who has to give any woman an empowerment. The empowerment rests with her alone. It is my Guruji, after many years telling me, you have to he has enabled me with the knowledge, but empowerment is something only I can do. It is through self-effort. I have to stand up, use that knowledge, apply the knowledge in the world and become empowered being. And he has empowered me so well. And I continue to get empowered as well. So there is nobody from outside who can give you this empowerment. Understand this truth and don't let anybody deride you. You are not a servant, you are not a slave. And that doesn't mean, the problem with today's world or generation is they misconstrue or misunderstand this concept of women's empowerment. You know why? Women's empowerment doesn't mean that you say one up against the man. Oh, if I'm going to be I'll show the man, or I'm going to show what I can do. That doesn't mean if a man is smoking, doesn't mean you go smoke 2 cigarettes or do something to show one up against the other. That's not what empowerment means. It means you have to be your good self. You do what is right for you. You don't have to let somebody else decide for you. My Guruji empowered me to take the decisions in my life. He'll always say, why should somebody else take care of your finances? Why should somebody else do things for you? You are capable. You do your stuff yourself. Why should someone else do? I've seen many, youngsters. The father manages the daughter's bank accounts and everything. Why should they do that? Even investments. Why can't you as an individual learn about it? What is missing in you? The knowledge. The willingness to do also. So you can't then blame the man. No, they always want to dominate. That is their nature. But you need to take charge of your life. You need to know how to, file your taxes, make your investments, go study about it and learn it. This is what my Guruji said. Take charge of your life. You don't have to someone, sitting on your head or doing your management or paying your taxes or doing stuff for you. You do everything yourself. That is called empowerment. It doesn't mean that, if, if my brother or my best friend is drinking 1 bottle of beer, I will drink 10 bottles of beer. That is not empowerment. We are not trying to equalize our status, male and female. This is not what it is all about. It is about you becoming independent, you becoming capable of taking the decisions of your life. You becoming that leader in your own world, not being a doormat. This is what empowerment means. So please don't misunderstand the term empowerment. And don't allow any man to rule your life, please. That doesn't mean you do all the wrong things and try to equalize, but that's what is happening. So be very careful to draw that fine. It's a fine line. So understand that truth. So let us continue. So also before other asuras, even all the gods assembled cannot stand in battle. Then what about you all alone, and that too a woman? How can you, a woman, confront Shumba and others whom all the gods, headed by Indra, cannot stand in battle? On my word alone, you go to the vicinity of Shumba and Nishumba. There is no need of your going to them. There is no need of your going to them, dragged by your tresses and your dignity lost. Have you heard men behaving in this way? Of course, that is the evil. These are the kind of evil people that exist. The demons who walk in the human form, and you need to learn to recognize them. The goddess said, it is true, Shumba is strong and Nishumba is likewise. What can I do? My promise made is an unthinkable moment is there. You go and tell the Lord of Asuras carefully all that I have said. Let him do what is proper. So with that, we end today's Devi Mahatmyam, 3rd episode, chapter 5, right? Sorry, I forgot which chapter we did. Yeah, chapter 5. So let us continue tomorrow, 3rd episode, chapter 6 and 7. So here ends the 5th of Devi Mahatmyam in Markandeya Purana during the period of Savarni, the Manu. Thank you once again for joining the Devi Mahatmyam Parayan day 4, and we did a very wonderful lesson. I think it's a powerful lesson. Please contemplate on it and empower yourself. Once again, wishing you all a very happy Navratri. Om Shri Mahaganapate Namaha, Om Shri Gurudev Datta, Om Shri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Digambara Digambara, Shripad Vallabha Digambara, Om Shri Krishna Gurunathanataya, Shri Guruve Namaha, Om Devi Durgaya Namaha, Om Shri Krishna Arpanam Namastu, Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru.